Erade paye da wasi wa ye kamfu din. Ye nyina kan ye ho bom kase yie bebrebe ni adoy bebrebe ene erade wa hwegu ye nkwanso. Fia no pa wa ye ngadom. Fia di osong yi wa ya asafu ya dom. We hyira ye. Ni esi nyina achi enne bebi aye dunin. Na ye de ye ngani ahwe ye nda achi ye hu se erade o ka ye hu nti e bewie ye yie. Me de o ma hye won sem. Sese erade o bebi a wa ba ha ne de onko wo hu hyira no. Ma wa hodin no to bi emra ne so. Bible say won a wode wo ho to wo erade so no. O ma won a hodin foforo. Ena wie ye erade ye pan a hodin foforo ma wo ma wo Yesu di mu. Moja deshe. Moja kronkron. Moja o Yesu Kristo wo hwegu Calvary me poso no. En ye sese erade ma moja no enkasa ma wo ma. Erade me de o manyina ahya wo nsam. Wo bo won din wo kwamboni so erade Yesu kasa ma wo ma. Erade wo hwe mai wo kwamboni bi so Yesu ji o mai na yi wadi se onyame a ogina yen achi. Woni yen alpha ani omega. Wona di nyina wo yen fiase ani awie. Papa ye awie pama yen wo Yesu Kristo di mu. Na wotwe a yesi mu yi. Ejapa ye de ye ho hye wo nsam. To winhyira nsu gu yen so. Okwan a ye be fa so yi wadi kire yen wo ho. Na ma ensi wo meyie se ne wasem e kire yen. Won Erade Yesu Kristo di mu ene ya bosampai. Mon verade asundwe nko. Mon kai se Yehowa wa hyira mo dedawo. Yehowa on hyira mo na onhwa mo so. Onto na ani min kyira mo na onnom mo. Omma na ni so nhwa mo. Omfa ne da asundwe mma mo. Na mon kai se na me po akese atwa Jerusalem mo ahia no. Sara na Yehowa nsa kese betwa mo nso mo ahia ene ene da nyina. Amen.
Pcgtv. In that light, there is light.
Hello out there. Welcome to Pcgtv Sports Time with Jerome. Like hey. Meaning last week. Come on, hello out there. Welcome to Pcgtv Sports Time with Jerome. Last week, I promised that we were going to continue our conversation with Mr. Neil Armstrong Motabi. Today, he's been kind to us to join us again, and we're going to continue our conversation from where we left off. But before all that, we go for a short break. The show will continue afterwards. Welcome back. For our scripture for today, I'll take you to Philippians chapter 4 verses 8, where it is written, "And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing, fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about these things that are excellent and worthy of praise." This was Paul urging us all to always think of what is right and true. In fact, one of the versions say, if there is anything, think about these things. We'll go for another break. When we come back, we'll think about those things. Welcome back. So today we honor our promise of speaking to Mr. Neil Armstrong Motabi yet again on all the issues that we started last week. And last week, as you recall, we ended on the Black Stars issue and the matter of the Baba Yara pitch and other pitches in the country. Mr. Armstrong, I mean, we ended last week by saying that something urgent has to be done about it. We know that the sports ministry issued a statement, and maybe to use their own wording, they say they are directing or instructing the FA to liaise with CAF and ensure that either the Accra or UG Stadium meets the certifications of CAF, so the Black Stars will play here and will not be sent outside home. You know, years gone by, this is not something you would have thought of, that Black Stars risk playing their home match somewhere else.
Yes, I mean, you're right, Jerome, that years gone by, that wouldn't have been a consideration. But it is the case that we are faced with it. Indeed, the letter from CAF was quite clear and unambiguous. They said we should look for venues sanctioned by CAF outside of Ghana and then make a representation to them that these are the venues that we are looking to play in. So, in the minds of CAF, per the letter that we received, there's no...
It is not what the sports ministry is talking about.
It's not about what we are discussing internally.
Okay.
They actually mentioned, they didn't mention the University of Ghana Stadium because at the time that the last CAF delegation came to inspect some of these stadia, that stadium wasn't completed. So they mentioned Cape Coast, for example. They mentioned the Accra Stadium, for example, and said in times past they had made mention that these stadia didn't meet the criteria, didn't measure up to the criteria. And the inference that we drew from what they said in the letter was that they would expect that beyond our looking at Baba Yara Stadium, we'll also be looking at these other stadia. But the position of the FA is quite simple, that we see ourselves as partners together with the National Sports Authority and the Ministry of Youth and Sports in ensuring that Ghanaians get what they deserve. Ghanaians get what the talent that God has blessed us with deserves. And so everything that we can do as an FA, working in conjunction with the Sports Authority and the Ministry, we would do it. Okay. You mentioned the diction in the statement. For me, I don't think it's too critical a matter. The critical matter is we need to have a field, at least a field in this country that can host our Category 3 matches, which are the matches played by our Senior A national team.
Because you see, it's not something we should even allow to go without comment, that we've reached the point where our Black Stars cannot play at home. I mean, and let's not joke, these are things that even could hamper the chances of the team's qualification because, I mean, at home, you definitely will find certain things comfortable. Playing away comes with so many things, especially on the African continent, but we wouldn't talk about those things. Now, let's focus on the subject for today, corporate social responsibility. And to be honest with you, when I heard that you will be head of public relations and strategy of the FA, I at least thought about this. But now you tell me this is the office and this is exactly what you have been doing. All I know when it comes to CSR with the FA is the GFA Foundation. Is that your job?
No, my job is head of PR and strategy, like we discussed. And public relations obviously has to do with stakeholder engagement and stakeholder management. So it is a case that we have mapped out our stakeholders. A lot of times we look at the primary stakeholders, but there are secondary stakeholders. There are people who may not be necessarily an integral part of football at a given point in time, but what we do in football or what football could do to impact those stakeholder groupings is quite massive. And so the public relations function has to do with, yes, we do a lot of media relations, so the communications directorate is part of my responsibility. But then we've got ex-footballers, we've got active footballers, we've got the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana, we've got the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we've got the Sports Authority and their public relations directorate. So these are just examples. We've got the Parliamentary Select Committee on Youth and Sports. So these are but a few of the stakeholder groupings that we see as being critical to our success. Because if we don't engage with all these stakeholder groupings who represent a larger population, we will not be having our finger on the pulse of what it is that we need to keep doing as a football association to engage with them effectively and let them see football beyond what we see on the field of play. The foundation is actually run by a very, very fine gentleman called Malcolm Fraser Piedu. He's been doing a fantastic job. The foundation was launched in April of 2023. He was engaged as a first director and he's still the sitting director of the foundation. And I'm sure as we go through the program, we'll be speaking to some of the initiatives that he has led the FA to execute.
You know, I think if there is anything that the Ket administration has done that touches my heart so much, it is the GFA Foundation. Why? Because, you know, CSR is not something a lot of companies take seriously. Yeah. Some of them would just put it somewhere on their calendar. It's more like, oh, let's go and find something.
It's like somebody's to-do list that he needs to take.
Yeah, let's make sure it's done. I mean, that's all that matters. But here you see some careful thinking. Yes. I mean, some attention to detail in terms of even the document that spells out what they are to do.
Yes.
So what is it? Is it just about donating to, let's say, ex-footballers, or raising funds and giving it around?
Actually, it goes beyond that. Those are part of it. So obviously the foundation is our sustainability and stakeholder management wing. We have something with it's an acronym that we call Gfa'S Csr.
Yeah.
And the Csr speaks to the thematic areas of this vehicle that we use in engaging with.
It means what?
Communicate. The Csr talks about, so for C you have community development with a focus on health and assurance, and education. The A would be assistance, and that's where the issue of supporting, and this has to actually do with underprivileged people. So there are two wings of the support. So there's the underprivileged. The R stands for reducing waste, reducing impact on ecology, reusing, looking at reusable. So in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, how can we be part of an effort by Ghana to enhance the consciousness of the people about this thing we call sustainability and how the environment is getting impacted by so many things. I'm sure later on we'll talk about some of the areas that we're looking at to invest in. Yeah. The E talks about educating especially fans. Our stadia at some point became places where people fear to go because of hooliganism. So the E is heavily on the education. It's about educating our fans especially, and those who will be going to the stadium, that hooliganism has no place in our football. And the S talks about support for the welfare of footballers. So the A is underprivileged, that's non-footballers, and the S is support for our past footballers. So donations like you spoke about will fall under the S, where we donated to footballers and and officials, both current and previous, who fall on hard times. So we gave Sabankwe, former team manager of the Black Stars.
I remember.
We gave some support to Thomas Kwe in terms of even enhancing the potential economic generating power of our ex-footballers. We supported Ali Jarrah. These are but a few of the examples of where that support has.
You know, I have to make a confession. I have seen GFA Csr. My assumption was that indeed they care. Yeah. But here I'm being told that it's more than they caring. Yeah. We'll go for a break. When we come back, we are going to explore more on these matters. Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about GFA Csr. And from now to maybe the end of the show, we're going to look at exactly what they have been doing, which show that indeed they care. And I have with me something I would like to read, and it says, GFA Foundation is the vehicle for our sustainability and corporate social responsibility drive. And this vehicle, I'm sure, has 4 parts. Number 1, which is donations to actors from stakeholders in football. Number 2, which is Ghana Prisons, which is a GFA Foundation project. Number 3, blood donation. They've done 1 this year, they did 1 last year. And indeed, tree planting. I mean, these are not things that on an ordinary day you think have any relationship with football.
Yes.
So why are you into these?
Well, it's because it derives from the vision of Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA. Indeed, it derives from the slogan that FIFA adopted some years ago, football for the game, for the world. So there is a component of what we do in football that is for the game. But we believe that the game has such an impact on societies that there's got to be a part of our activity that also targets the rest of the world outside of football. So those 4 that you mentioned are actually 4 out of about 11 or 12 that we've done. There's also one that has to do with our partnership with Goals for Flow NGO. So Goals for Flow, that targets issues around menstrual health.
Interesting.
So there's an advocacy that we support them to push on how we can support young ladies who have challenges with their menstrual health. It's also part of what we do as our sustainability and social responsibility. You talked about the Ghana prisons. Sorry.
In an area like that, you provide sanitary pads.
So we support them. We do advocacy, yes, with them, yes.
That's good.
Yes. So they call themselves Goals for Flow. So that's how we partnered with them.
Okay, and then you were talking about the prisons.
The prisons project. So there's a lot of stigma attached to prisons. You've got officers who work there, and they are in charge of managing persons who are incarcerated in our prisons. Many a time, the people, our brothers and sisters who are in prison get forgotten by society. So the Executive Council and President Simeon Lukaku said, what area of society could we look to make impact? There's so many challenges.
Lots of them. Yeah.
But we targeted the prisons project because we felt that not much was going in that direction. Typically, you have a lot of people going towards education and health. So we just said, let's look towards the prisons and see how we could work with our brothers and sisters who unfortunately find themselves behind bars. When it is that they come out of prison, many a time they're more like forgotten. Nobody seems to want to even engage with them. And so together with 6 prisons, this first phase, we've done 6 prisons.
In Ghana?
In Ghana, yes, all in Ghana. We've done in Sunyani, we've done Akuse, we've done in Sawam, we've done Cape Coast. So these are prisons which we identified where there's some active football going on.
I see.
In Sawam prisons, for example, there's an active football league that goes on.
I've never heard of this.
And you've got very talented footballers in there. So for us, does the talent go waste just because the person happened to have found himself on the wrong side of the law? We don't think so. So how can we continue to fuel the passion of our brothers and sisters who are behind bars? That's what birthed the Ghana Prisons Project, and to remove the stigma. So one of the views we have, or the visions we have of the future is, for example, we donated items to the prisons. So there's jerseys that we give to the prison officers, then the jerseys that we give to the representative team or the inmates. We get caution cars, we donated footballs, donated everything that has to do with football in terms of logistics. We've given each of these 6 prisons, and they are just the first of the rest. So this is the first phase, so it's for 6 prisons. Once it is that these inputs are given, it enhances the footballing activity inside of the prison. But I was talking about the vision of the future. There's somebody who is incarcerated. His term would end in, say, 2 years. He's a very, very talented footballer, or he's someone who can be a very good referee. Through this initiative and through advocacy around the removal of stigmatization around our prisons, we believe that by the time this person is ready to come out of prison, he has an opportunity in football, either as a footballer, either as a coach, either as a referee, either as somebody who can play a role. There's some that are brilliant in IT. We've got a video analyst course that they could access. There are prisons abroad where people actually enter prison without a degree. They come out and they've got 2 or 3 degrees, depending on the length of time they stayed there and the length of time that they had to take particular courses. So it's borrowing from that theme. How do we rehabilitate our brothers and sisters so that when it is that they come out of prison, they will have a life beyond the walls of the prison?
I must say I'm so impressed with this, except that I don't think the FA has made this one of the things that the media will get to talk about every day, because if not on Pcgtv, I've never heard this before. I mean, but this is an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
What more do you have apart from the prisons project?
Well, beyond the prisons project, we already talked about the donations to some of our people. You talk about the tree planting. Yeah? So Ghana celebrates Green Ghana Day, or the world celebrates an environmental day that we call Green Ghana.
Yeah, I think
so
in
for
June
us,
also.
Green Ghana Day. So we partnered with the Forestry Commission to plant trees. We planted some trees at the Ghana Man Soccer Center of Excellence, and then we joined the Mayor of Accra, or the Mayor of the Accra Metropolitan Authority, to also plant trees along the High Street. Those will be symbolic ones, but what we've done is to engage with all our regional football associations that are throughout the 10 football regions. We call them football regions because we are yet to advance to the point of having 16 secretariats. Even 10 actually, it's a lot of work. So we're looking at. So when it is that we have the 6, then we have 16 football. But for now, we have 10 football regions, and all of them, every year where that will happen, there will be that activity. But we said, should it just be a yearly thing? It should be a conscious thing that goes on. And football has it's a vehicle to communicate messages. So one of the ideas we have in the going to the coming season is, for example, at a Division 1 league match in a particular area where ecology is a challenge, could we put pitch panels that talk about take care of the environment, messages that we couch in conjunction with the Forestry Commission. So it's an ongoing advocacy to protect the environment. One of the biggest conversations going on today is galamsey, you know, and the water bodies that feed this forest, all right, will also affect the tree cover, the vegetative cover of our country. So it's to use our football as a vehicle to communicate these messages. We've talked about Green Ghana, we've talked about the Ghana Prison and GFA Foundation. We also have the
blood donation.
Blood donation. So last year, in partnership with the Ghana Tourism Authority, we participated in Blood Donation Day, Blood Donor Day. And it's because from the conversations we had with the blood bank, there usually is shortage of blood. Football employs so many people. It's a health, it's an area where you have a lot of preventive health. So we felt that looking at the thousands of people who operate in football, we could tap into these populations who understand the implications of a player getting an injury and needing a blood transfusion. A player's family having a challenge with getting blood. So we've spoken to all our stakeholders. Typically, we have a lot of the fan groups coming around. So last year we did in conjunction with the Ghana Tourism Authority, who are celebrating their 50th anniversary. But this year we went solo, had a lot of people coming to Football House as the head office of the Ghana Football Association to donate blood. Again, just like I mentioned with the Green Ghana Day, this will devolve also around our regions. And as we go along, it's to involve more and more our regions. So that it's not only an Accra thing, but it goes beyond Accra. You've got populations in Kumasi, you've got in Brongahafu, you've got in the north. Everywhere there will be teams set up working in conjunction with a health facility to ensure that we're able to put together this blood to help our needy brothers and sisters who might need it for whatever reason.
Okay. You know, if you are someone who is always on the GFA, I mean, talking about what you do on the field of play in terms of maybe running the Ghana Premier League and other things relative to the Black Stars, I think it is perhaps time you look at the other things which Mr. Neil Armstrong is talking about here. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, we're going to delve more into the CSL issues of the FA. Welcome back. You know, I fall in love with the CSR projects of the FA, but there are two more that we have not touched on, and I would like Mr. Armstrong to look at those two because they are very important. In fact, the PCG recently also gathered items and sent them somewhere around the Volta region and even parts of, is it Greater Accra? Some victims, I mean people who were trapped by water washed their things away, and massive donations were sent to them by the Presbyterian Church of Ghana. I have never heard. Now Mr. Armstrong has the detail, what the GFA also did for such victims. And you are saying that these things also fall under your corporate social responsibilities.
Yes. So for example, when we talked about the A in the CARES, we spoke about assisting underprivileged.
Yeah.
So when it was that the floodwaters inundated the areas around North Tongu, the FA through the Executive Council and then by the agency of the foundation saw it fit to put together some relief items to support the victims of the dam spillage. So in September 2023, and just for specificity's sake, I'll just pick up a few of the items that were sent there. So 5 kilogram bags of rice, 2,500 of them. 25 bags of 100 kilogram gari. 100 kilogram gari, there's like 2.5 tons.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. 20 bags of 100 kilogram maize, cooking oil, cartons of tin tomatoes, sardines, soap, essentially items that would help those who have been affected by this unfortunate dam spillage downstream of the Volta River. So the total value of the contribution or the support given them was about 100,000 Ghana cedis.
That's impressive.
Yes. And as an ongoing basis, what Malcolm does is when you do CSR, you do an instant donation, and it is taken that is it. But for us, and those of us who also practice public relations, I, at a personal level, am very fussy about the metrics, about measuring the impact. So whilst it is good to do the facial one, everybody takes pictures, beyond what you did, what's the situation of our brothers there today? We're in September 2024.
Like
the interventions were made September 2020. Where are they today? So one of the discussions I'm having with Malcolm is, how do we go in there and then measure? Okay, we may not have been the only ones who did it. Others did. But where are our brothers and sisters who are affected by the dam spillage today? Are they better off? Are they worse off? Is there a potential dam spillage going to happen again? Because I heard the battery in upper, sorry, not upper, I was going to say upper Volta. This shows that, it shows that Minika. Burkina Faso. What are the likely implications coming down? And more importantly, the more lasting solutions, are they being implemented? It may not be the agency of the FA to do that, but at least having been part of the support effort, it will be useful to engage with others who are part of it to see that these, our brothers and sisters, don't go through the same situation. It was said at the time in September last year that this is a once in a generation occurrence. But if it's the case that the dam or the waters pile up behind the dam as they piled up last year, and it becomes a continuous thing, then you want to find a more lasting solution. But essentially, in terms of what we did last year, to the tune of 100,000, we gave relief items to our brothers and sisters who are affected by the dam spillage. I also spoke to you, before we came back, about the campaign we did with Malta Guinness. You know, Malta Guinness are sponsors of our Women's Premier League, and so part of their corporate social responsibility is also to keep the environment clean. Their products are packaged in some plastic, and therefore, where it's found that our beaches are being inundated with plastic in the waters on the beach. So Malta Guinness partners with us on World Cleanup Day last year to clean up the Sakumono beach. So staff of the FA joined with staff of Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited, the parent company of Malta Guinness, to clean up the Sakumono beach. And these are additional parts of our corporate social responsibility and sustainability projects. Obviously, if plastic remains in the environment, it degrades the environment. And sustainability is all about ensuring that whatever we do today does not affect future generations. And plastic is a big issue. The oceans are inundated with it. So for us, it's also a place that we can extend the reach of the power of football towards affecting and impacting on our societies and communities.
I would love to admit that some of these things I have not closely followed them. We've been concentrated on
what's happening on the field.
What's happening on the field. But these are very positive developments. What would you say have been the response from the various stakeholders you've engaged? You've mentioned about 7 of them. What, generally speaking, what has been the response? The
response has been very positive. And you're right. When it is that we've approached some of them, they've wondered what's the relationship between us and football. But then when we explain to them that football transcends what happens on the field of play, and it's a vehicle that their messages actually get out there, especially look at the menstrual health issue. It's a big issue. So I think it's even at a nominal level as we speak. It's a basic level. It has to be escalated so that our girls and our young women who have these issues can be worked with. So beyond just providing paths in conjunction with our partners, it's about advocacy. How do you protect yourself? How do you manage your health in such a way that these menstrual health challenges do not impact negatively on you? The response has been massive. Everyone or every stakeholder grouping that we have engaged with have welcomed it. They for example, the prisons are looking at when can we next come? Can we extend it to more? Because the issue of reintegration of our brothers and sisters in society is a massive one.
Yeah, it's a big one.
I shared the example of we did a project in Liberia working with FIFA in marketing consulting, where we're looking for sponsorship for some of the clubs in their Premier League. And one of the stories we told were the stories of former child soldiers who are now playing football for a club. because of confidentiality reasons, I may not be able to mention the name of the club.
I understand.
But through that advocacy and some additional work done by the Liberian national team at the time, we were able to get them some CSR funds, $500,000 to support their Premier League teams and to a lesser extent the national team. So CSR, as we've known it, and sustainability as it's now becoming known because of the future outlook that we're looking at, is a massive field where I believe as the Ghana Football Association if we continue on the path that we are and engage, more stakeholder groupings, I'm sure the impact will be very, very, very heavily felt.
I have no doubts about that. And for someone like me who is into organizational studies, look, if you are an organization out there and you are not doing CSR, you are not living, because these are everyday matters that organizations should take up. And I must say, I'm really impressed with the Ghana Football Association having to do these things outside of football. I mean, you may not see them as things that have a relationship with football, but if you want girls, I mean, there was a time in our football history when the FA wanted females, ladies, to come to the stadium free of charge. And guess what? If they are not in good health, how would they come? So these are very important matters, and I commend the Ghana Football Association for doing these things. Unfortunately, we don't have so much time on our hands, but I'll leave the last word with you, and maybe something you would want to say to the football fans out there. The new season has started. The FA has so many things to do. What would you want to part with us as?
Well, it's to say a big thank you to Ghanaians for their continuing love for football. You know, there's a time where we felt, the love was about going down. But, Jerome, when we started the league, or about to start the league, and we kept getting hit with which TV station is going to show it, then you know that deep down, all right, and we are on Pcgtv, there's a first love. And that love for football, we won't take it for granted that will never wane. It just shows the energy that Ghanaians still have for their football. And it behoves those of us who are running it at different levels to honor that love and to honor the energy of the people, and to pray God, as we sit on Presbyterian Church Ghana TV Sports, that over the next couple of years, we get to a level together where, as fans, as media, as FA operatives, we coalesce around the vision of getting Ghana football back to where it ought to be. And the prayer is that in the next few years, we have a Black Stars, because Black Stars is the epitomization of what we do in our football. You can be doing all the beautiful things at every level, which we are doing, but when the Black Stars don't perform, Ghanaians are not happy.
I agree.
And I believe that prayer will be a prayer that will plead, that the Presbyterians and everybody watching us over here will pray that over a few years' time, in a few years hence, we'll come sit here celebrating another African Cup victory for the Black Stars of Ghana.
I hope we do it in 2028 when the PCG will be celebrating 200 years.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Anyway,
that would be awesome.
There is one part of Mr. Neil Armstrong that we didn't talk about. He's a man of faith, a strong man of faith. Absolutely. I'm sure another time, if we have the opportunity to engage him, we'll delve into those matters. And there's something he said. Ghanaians want the Black Stars to be fixed, same as our league football. But guess what? If somebody told me that if you want to know what Ghanaians don't like and what they like most, check what they criticize most.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It will give you an indication of what they like.
That's true.
There's no question about it. We like our Black Stars and we love our football. So that's why we're going to end the show. On Pcgtv, we say, in thy light, there is light. See you next week with another show. Goodbye.
Pcgtv. In thy light, there is light. Pcgtv. In thy light, there is light.
It's a delight to be in your homes once again to present to you the Presbyterian Show, the show that is designed to educate you, to entertain you, and to discuss everything Presbyterian. Today we are profiling a very fine personality within the church. We have today Reverend John Niyate Dixon. We're going to have a chat with him. He's going to tell us how he became a Reverend Minister, where he started from, where he was born, his aspirations in life, his challenges in life. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
This is a voice sampled for Ed Music Studio. As part of our strategy to meet the vocal requirements of our most cherished clients, we have sampled different voice clips to aid clients appreciate the clarity of our voices and our delivery styles. Check out our other voice samples and pick what suits your brand the most. You can reach us for your jingles and voiceovers on 0244-207-397 or 0271-223-444 or 0302-327-039. Thank you for listening.
Welcome back. Like I said, we have a fine personality in our midst by name Reverend John Niyate Dixon. Reverend, welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
All right, so Reverend, tell me, which congregation do you minister in?
Currently, I am with the Presbyterian Church of Ghana Trinity Congregation, Dansoman Estate.
Oh, okay, Dansoman Estate. Okay. How many years have you been a Reverend Minister?
For Reverend Minister, 10 years now.
10 years?
Yes.
Okay, prior to that, what was your profession?
I was electrical technician, computer technician.
Okay.
Telecommunication.
So why did you have to leave all that to become a Reverend Minister?